With a goal of furthering our MSQ and building up our crafters, we set off on what was, for me, a really long grind. Over the course of 11 separate recording sessions and over 15 hours of gameplay footage to sort through, we finally made some headway and got to a point where I can finally say we've come a lot closer to our goal. Although in playing through these hours, I've come to realize that this Forgemaster challenge will look very similar to an Omni Crafter challenge. I still plan on focusing solely on becoming a master of the Forge, but to get there, I'll have to put in a lot of work elsewhere, or multiple elsewheres I should say. With that said though, let's dive in. Continuing with the main questline, we push towards our first dungeons. Along the way, we encounter a pirate raid in Swiftperch, which ends up with a masked man almost killing us. Luckily, Y'shtola comes to help us out, and we learn about the Ascians, evil people dedicated to, well, evil. We defeat him and his summoned minions, and we head to Aleport to finish off a job quest that we've been neglecting. We turn in the quest, report back to Reiner, and are praised by the Admiral herself. A banquet is held in our honor where we get to wear some nice fancy shoes, just for us to pass out when the talking gets good. We hallucinate about the Battle of Cartano, and apparently it was really bad. We wake up in an inn room and learn that the Admiral wants to see us. We arrive and take on a quest to be a messenger. This is the quest that we've finally been waiting for, the quest that allows us to go to Gridania and Ul'dah, where we can finally unlock our crafting jobs and our other gathering jobs. Although, granted, Fisher has already been obtainable, though we probably won't be using it a whole lot. We picked it up, but I'm not real sure how that job's going to work for us with our rule set. We board an airship and head off for Gridania first. Along the way, we learn about the other baddies of this story, the Garlean Empire. Although, apparently, all they want is to take over the world or something, I'm not real sure, but this guy seems like he really means business. We arrive in Gridania, and like most people, we sprint towards all the Aether Shards we can, unlocking all the travel here. Along the way, we grab Carpenter, Leatherworker, and Botanist. We deliver a letter to Kana Isena, the magical lady who runs this place. She then sends us off to Ul'dah, where we can rinse and repeat what just happened here. We zoom off on an airship to Ul'dah, where we, again, grab every Aether Shard to unlock fast travel here, and grab the remaining jobs that we need to get this challenge run rolling. Alchemist, Goldsmith, Miner, and Weaver. Once we have all those, we begin the first of many grinds for this challenge. We race across the world to get back to Gridania so that we can level up our botanist. We need this job at level 10 minimum for us to harvest an item called Moko Grass, which is used to level our Weaver. We gather latex and maple logs for later use. Once we're high enough level, we take the airship back to Ul'dah and begin leveling Miner. Miner's going to be our main gatherer for this run since, blacksmith and armor both use metal to make their things. We gather copper and tin primarily, while grabbing at least one of every possible item for the small EXP bonus. Once we're level 10, we head to a safe area and begin work. We process the maple logs into lumber, the copper and tin ores into bronze ingots, make a couple of bronze tools for EXP, then figure out that we need to make an offhand tool for our miner in order to make a tool for our botanist. So we level up Goldsmith to unlock the Ragstone Whetstone recipe, go gather some bone chips and animal skins to make animal glue, head back to Gridania for some more ash logs to turn into lumber, return again to Ul'dah, and finally sit down and craft our offhand tool for the miner, a bronze sledgehammer. With the new tool equipped, we race out to obtain Ragstone for our whetstones, and then finally craft our offhand tool for botanist, a bronze scythe. With tools in hand, we set out for Horizon, where our Moko Grass can be found. We gather a hardy amount and use it to make the materials we need for some gathering and crafting gear upgrades. Although granted at this point we're going from +0 to plus something, so gains I guess. We get the remaining items that we need in order to make an amateur's doublet vest. a seriously awesome upgrade for our gathering gear. Now that our Moko grass chance is 100% to obtain, we gather some more and begin working on an amateur's kurta, some hempen short gloves, and a pair of hempen bottoms. Not the best gear, but with it, I'm able to add 11 to 12 points of progress with our crafting abilities compared to our starting 6. All this work, and we finally have double the power at our disposal. We look through our current options on gear and decide to use some of our bronze to make ourselves a much needed upgrade to our combat gear. We decided on a bronze cuirass, some bronze sabatons, a bronze celada, some bronze gauntlets, and a pair of hard leather keks. We gather the needed iron ore for ingots, the missing bronze and tin needed for ingots, some animal skins for hard leather, and some animal sinew for leather so that we can get our leather worker high enough to make what we need. After some time, we successfully gather all of our gear and work on a new weapon. This time, we head to Gridania for some more ash logs, we turn that into lumber, and we combine it with our bronze for a spiked bronze labrys. With this gear equipped, we make our way towards our first dungeons. We continue with the MSQ, unlocking the challenge log before completing our level 15 class quest and then heading out to Sastasha. For our first dungeon, I wasn't sure how things would go. I'm doing the dungeon with the NPC group that the game assigns me, so we're going in level synced. Being at level 18, I don't have access to my strongest move, Storm's Path. Even with this restriction, the dungeon went pretty smoothly. We progressed through each group of enemies, making it to each boss in a decent amount of time. I was very surprised with how well the NPC Conjurer kept me healed. Though the DPS only single targeting enemies kinda slowed things down, but we did finally make it to the final boss den. I do want to say that this is the first time I've ever witnessed the mechanics of this boss fight. Usually a group of players smoking before the first ads can join, but this was pretty cool and kind of a rare thing to get to see. With Sastasha finished, we were asked to take care of an issue that arose in Gridania. When we got there, we were informed of some cultists causing problems in Tamtara Depcroft. So we made our way there, and like Sastasha, we formed up with the NPC group to clear the dungeon. Like last time, this dungeon went fairly smooth. We defeated the cultists, destroyed their orbs, and made it to the final boss, a void scent named Galvanath. This boss was all about magic attacks and summoned ads to get in our way. Upon defeating some pesky imps, we managed to take him down, claiming yet another dungeon clear for ourselves. Then, when we returned to tell about our good news, yet again we were met with another dungeon problem. This time, we were headed to Ul'dah to learn about the issues happening in the Copperbill Mines. We rush over and immediately get to work clearing out the new inhabitants. We defeat a giant slime, and then another very upset giant dude called Gygas. We exit the mines victoriously, and suddenly switch gears, mining up plenty of iron ore to go towards our next upgrades. We run around gathering various materials and end up gathering a bunch of new accessories for our crafter jobs to use. Now, we have a goal to craft some pretty decent gear to get us through at least the next dungeon, Totorak. The gear I have in mind will require a level 24 combat class, which luckily we already have, but more importantly, severely powered up crafters, so we head off and get to work. We head to Bent Branch and gather some cotton balls, which we'll use for a new set of gatherer crafters gear. We end up crafting a cotton coif of gathering, an initiate's doublet vest, a cotton kurta, some cotton work gloves, some initiate slops, and a pair of cotton breeches of crafting. We aren't quite able to equip all of this right when we craft it, but it'll be ready for us to use very soon. We realize that we need better tools for our armorer and blacksmith to make our new gear and begin to grab what we need to make them. We grab more ash logs for lumber and use it to level our carpenter to a point where we can make elm lumber. We grab our logs, turn them into lumber, and use that with some of the iron that we gathered earlier to make an iron doming hammer and an iron crosspeen hammer, getting the luckiest high quality craft I've ever seen. It was from a 1% chance. We craft various items to level our armorer up and head down to South Shroud to kill some antelope doe for their beast sinew. We use this to level our leatherworker job to a point where we can make addlegoat leather. We ride our chocobo porter to Gridania, fly over to Ul'dah, head out to Camp Drybone, and then eliminate the local population of addlegoats. With leather in hand and new tools boosting our stats, we managed to make high-quality iron scale greaves, iron scale fingers, iron scale mail, and iron headgear. The next piece we have in our sights is an Inferno Axe, a significant upgrade to our bronze axe that we used for our dungeon runs. We head out to grab all the necessary materials, collecting copper ore for more brass ingots, and ash logs for lumber to make a high-quality iron war axe. We even stopped by Blackbrush Station and grabbed the ability to material meld from my boy Mutamix Bubbly Pots. After that, we sat down in the woods and crafted ourselves a high-quality Inferno Axe. Finally, the last piece we need for this gear set is pants. For our pants, we need leather. And for the correct leather, we need to be a better leather worker. So we set our next goal to upgrade our gear and level up so that we can craft our desired pair of pantaloons. We gather many items to help us level, like beast sinew that we get from those does. Although I do feel kind of bad about how many I had to kill to get an okay amount. We murder more addlegoats for their hide, finally getting Leatherworker to an appropriate level to make those sweet, sweet pants. And then we realize we need to level Alchemist for another required material. Luckily, I only need to be level 10, so it doesn't take very long. We get the clove oil that we need, and some mudstone for some whetstones. We park ourselves in Aleport and begin crafting. We make an Initiate's head knife and an iron awl to boost our Leatherworker stats. Then, finally, we finish our gear set with a pair of the finest goatskin breeches you've ever seen. We swap over to Marauder, equipped our new gear, and take a minute to admire how stinking cool we look. I've never really thought about any of the ARR gear looking cool, but I've been humbled.